Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Angela McCrae. I'm here with Uncorked and Cultured. Just wanted to let you guys know I'm trying something new today. I'm trying to go live on Facebook as well as YouTube at the exact same time. So if you guys are out there and if you see me, please comment in the chat box. Let me know that you're with me. So that way I can just, make sure everything's good because it's all about making sure we're all here on the same page. And while I'm at it, I'm going to also start sharing this on my on my Facebook page because I want to make sure we get as many people as possible. But if you see me, please let me know what's happening. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know how I'm sounding. Just comment in the comment box just so I can know that everything is kosher in Facebook as well as in YouTube. So just let me know where you're seeing me at. I'm just checking on my phone to make sure we are live. Okay, it looks like we are. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to just share this really quickly. All right, perfect. All right, nice. So, thank you all for joining me today. I'm Angela McCrae, and this is Uncorked and Cultured. I started doing the virtual wine tastings in May because I wanted, to learn more about wine. I launched a online direct sales wine business, and so, I just wanted to, bring my family, friends, and colleagues, and even other people that are into wine, to join me on this journey. To learn about luxury wine, and also, be able to share wine. We could talk about wine together virtually during this time of COVID. So if it's your first time with me, please, I want to welcome you. And if not, welcome back. Either way, I just am happy that you guys had a chance to join me today. So this week, we're talking about the full moon, which we actually we just had a full moon last week. We'll also be talking about the new moon, which is happening next week, and lunar eclipses, which is another moon phase. Y'all see where I'm going, right? Yes, we're talking all about astrology today. And right now, we're going to actually have expert Western astrologer Sonja Marie of Wordlife Astrology joining us. So, Sonja, I'm going to bring you in. How are you?
I'm good. Hopefully you can see me. I had to change locations here.
Yes, you look good, especially when you lean in. The lean
Okay,
in looks good. I can see you really bright and clear.
okay, good.
Oh, I just want to shout out a few folks that we see here. I see you, Jania. Hey, the homie, and also Destiny. Hey, Destiny. She's actually helping me produce Uncorked and Cultured. So I'm so glad they are here with us today. So Sonia, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Angela. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. And, I felt like this was a good time because, these past 2 weeks, I've been feeling very emotional. I've noticed patterns with other people feeling emotional. I've been talking to people and I just feel like we're all in this kind of weird space. So I
Yeah.
was very excited to talk to you because, I feel like the moon cycle probably has a lot to do with it.
On top of a whole bunch of things, but yes, the moon leads the way in that sense, in the emotional sense.
So before I get into the wine tasting, like what, just if you want to just give us just kind of like a quick overview of like, what we can expect in today's conversation. Cause I know me and you, we've planned something amazing. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, how are you feeling right now with the moon cycle, and what are some things that we can expect in our conversation to learn today?
Well, I'd love for people to know who I am. Again, my name is Sonja Marie of Wordlife Astrology. I named it that because I like to deliver astrology from a down to earth kind of word, like word up, word life perspective. Um, so a lot of this is going to be, in my opinion, and my intention is easily understood in regards to the relationship of the moon in Western astrology. We can talk about different signs in a particular moon, and, or I should say, moon signs in people's charts. We'll get into that. We'll talk about the eclipses, as you mentioned earlier, and what we can look forward to for the rest of this year when it comes to the moon and the emotions and what we have changing.
Yes, yes. And I just thought it felt right to just, put up this image of the moon cycles, right? I mean, just so people, sometimes we hear about the full moon, we hear about the new moon here and there, but, it's bigger than what we just know. It's so many different phases. So I'm excited for you to kind of introduce us to, the phases that we're going to be going through today.
I'm ready.
So, okay, so this is Uncorked and Cultured. So, what do you have over there uncorked?
Nice little Sauvignon Blanc.
Ooh, Sauvignon Blanc. I love it. I love it. Well, today, I'm going to be talking about Evoluna, which is the wine of choice. And the reason why I chose this wine is because today's conversation, we're going to be talking about astrology, the moon cycles, and I just felt like it was so appropriate. This is actually a wine that I sell through
Awesome.
my direct wine sell, my direct wine sales company. So I'm excited that you're going to be able to help give us a greater context, right, of of the moon cycles. But before I get into that, I just want people to know who you are. So if you guys are watching and you want to learn more about Sonja and follow her, please be sure to follow her on Instagram at Wordlife Sonja Marie. She's always giving out some amazing, amazing tips, but she also has a YouTube page, which you can find once you go to her YouTube. Once you go to her Instagram and you go to her link tree, you'll see all of her links from her website to her YouTube, as well as other special things. Right, Sonja?
That's exactly right.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that I did want to talk about before we get into it is, there's been, a lot of things when it comes to wine and how people harvest wine, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about, as we go into the wine tasting, is how the winemakers actually utilize wine as a way to the moon as a way to kind of tell their story and how to really make the right decisions when it comes to wine, because wine is an expression of their environment. Wines are an expression of their environment. So the lunar moon, of course, the phases of the lunar moon, they impact the growing season. And it comes from a system of old age wisdom where the moon's gravitational pull, which impacts our oceans, creating tides and so forth, also impacts plants as well, because plants are made mostly of water. So of course it just makes sense. So I just wanted to kind of make that correlation as we go throughout after the evening, just sipping wine and talking about astrology, that the moon and planets not only guide us emotionally and make decisions for our day-to-day life, but maybe we should be considering moon energy when we're drinking our wine.
That sounds good to me. And I honestly think that I'll put it this way. I just believe in energy. Everything is energetic. Every single thing that we put our eyes on, that we touch, that we listen to, that we love through, that we feel through, in any emotion, is all energy. So it only makes sense that the pull of the moon would adjust the grapes, would adjust the arid and or moist soil that the grapes are growing from, would adjust the sunlight and the piercing of its rays on our planet, and where it hits on a particular earth. I mean, that makes sense to me. It's all energy. So as the energy adjusts, as it transforms, why not the wine, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this
By the
particular,
way, where is that wine out of? Is it out of
it's
California?
yep, it's a Sonoma County wine.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually going to pour a glass now, and it's called Evoluna. So let me actually just put this on screen while I'm pouring. So it's called Evoluna, and
Mhm.
it's actually manufactured by Secret Indulgence, which is actually one of my favorite winemakers.
Mhm.
Because they're very mystical. Like they have a red wine blend that I really like called Taro.
Oh, really?
Yes, and they have
What
a
did it blend with? What kind of what's the grapes in there?
for this particular one, this is a Chardonnay.
No, in the
Oh, and the blending. Okay, so I'm going to have to send you a link to that tasting because I don't remember offhand.
okay, okay. No, because I'm a big fan of blends. I love blends.
Oh.
Yeah, I love when Syrah, they blend Syrah, Merlot, and a Pinot Noir together. You get a
Mm.
really nice wine that I love called Prisoner. and it's a really awesome blend. Oh my gosh.
It's called Prisna.
Prisoner. I said prisoner
Prisoner.
like that's the New York way of saying it.
Oh, Pilsner, like Pilsner.
No, prisoner, like to lock somebody up in jail.
Oh, prisoner. Okay.
I
Okay.
said it with my New York accent, that's all. Prisoner.
It's all good, girl. I'm a New Yorker now, so I might be getting a little accent in the next 10 years if I
You
stay here
will.
long enough.
Guaranteed.
So one of the things, see, this is what I love about this particular brand. I mean, look at how they just present it. You know, the moon has this mystic and wondrous curiosity, and what they do is they tie it directly into the storytelling, marketing of the wine itself, and they do that with each and every one of their,
That's awesome.
their wines. So I think it's just, it adds fun. It gives us a theme, that we can actually talk about today.
Right.
Um, so, as I mentioned earlier, this particular wine is from Sonoma County, California. It's a 2016, so that means it's been aged for quite a few years. And since this is a luxury brand that's straight from the vineyard, you don't have to worry about some of the effects that happens when wine sometimes ages. Like, when you have a really high end luxury wine, the aging process is beneficial. So this particular wine has a lot of flavors associated with it, and I want people to really consider when they do their wine tastings to really like take the moment to like look at the wine, smell the wine, and then of course taste the wine. This particular wine I would suggest pairs very well with, cream cheeses, some Dover sole with lemon sauce. As a white wine, we always, of course, encourage people to do white wines, specifically crisp wines like a Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc, like you're drinking, with like a fresh fish, seafood, or even like a chicken breast or like a light poultry, almost similar to like a salad, a chicken salad, or like a lettuce chicken wrap. So
Okay.
that's something that I definitely love to encourage people to do it, when they're tasting their wines and they want to really enjoy it in this optimal way, is to really make sure you pair it with something nice. I actually had veggie tacos, so I think this will go well before we went live, and then of course create a nice environment like we're doing
Right,
today.
right, right.
So okay, so let's see. Let me see your wine really quickly. What do you? Let me see what your wine's looking like real quick. What do you see when you look at your wine?
When I look at my wine,
Mm-hmm.
um, well, first of all, I did not chill it, to be quite
Okay.
honest with you. So it looks kind of flat to me. Like there's no. So you want to know about the legs that I see, if there are any on this
Yes.
line?
Yes. Yes.
There are a few, and they're pretty slow moving, which is a good deal, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. It
I'm
is.
pretty novice when it comes to this, so I might need your help.
Well,
And
we're
I'm
learning together because I'm still a novice as well. I just started learning about wine in April, so this is still the beginning stages for me.
oh, awesome. Yeah, I just see that the legs coming down slow, which means it has. Someone told me that has a lot of sugar, right? Or it's more, it's sweeter, or when it's thicker, when the legs are thicker and they come down slower, it's a little sweeter. Do you know about that?
I'm not familiar with that, but if I have any of my black wine professionals watching, I would love for them to chime in and let us know, give us a little bit of that wine education. Um, but I do have a little bit of legs on mine, but it's actually not very thick and coated like some wines I've had in the past. These legs are actually kind of thin, and they're kind of streaking down. So I don't know exactly
Okay.
what that means. But for me, in this particular wine with the Evoluna, I noticed that it has a very pale straw color. You see that? You can kind of see it a little bit into the reflection of the
Hmm.
light. It kind of hits it kind of perfectly, actually. And then I want to,
Yeah,
and then I think we should probably smell it. Like what? Oh, this one smells really good.
I think I lied to you. I believe I am drinking a Chardonnay because I knew that tonight's. I have to admit, I knew that tonight's assignment was about a Chardonnay, and I couldn't get my hands on the Evoluna, right?
Yep.
So I got another Chardonnay from Trader Joe's, and mine is not necessarily straw pale. Since we want to get to the color, and this might sound really disgusting, but it's dark like pee, like you didn't drink water all day.
I love it. Keep it real, girl. No, let me see. Put it up to the
Oh,
camera.
I don't know. Can you see that?
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can
It's
see
kind
that.
of
But it's
dark.
yeah, it is. But I see the light is kind of shining through it a little bit, so it kind of gives me like it's not too dark. I mean, but you could see better than I can because I'm looking at it from a reflection.
Yeah. And as far as the smell is concerned, I picked one purposely that wasn't like a vanilla hint because I can't stand vanilla.
Mmm,
Yeah, it does. Vanilla does not vibrate with my body chemistry for some reason.
that's good to
So
know.
this is more. It has a citrus kind of thing to it for sure, and it's a little creamy. I believe
Mmm.
most Chardonnays are somewhat creamy, right?
Mm-hmm. Some are creamier than others, but yes, that is
Oh, maybe
correct.
that's the
And have
darkness.
that
That's the
buttery.
pea. That's the
Yeah,
pea in the color.
I love
It's
it.
the cream.
I love it. I love it. So mine actually, I smelled so there's a bit of peach and definitely some citrus as well. So I think that's something that may be consistent throughout these particular varietal. So
Right.
that's you took your first sip, right?
I did. I'm not waiting.
What do you
I
taste?
want to taste that one.
This one is good, girl. Okay, I usually don't drink Chardonnay, so this is my first time tasting a Chardonnay on Uncorked and Cultured, and that's for a reason because of past Chardonnays that weren't very good on the palate. For me, like how you said you don't like the vanilla taste in Chardonnays and things
Right.
of that sort. Like to me, I felt like the Chardonnays that I had in the past were too bitter, so it would like just. But this one is actually really smooth. It does have a little bit of butteriness to it.
Mine is a little bitter too. It's got a little bite to it. I don't like the dryness on my tongue after I pull away.
So we're going to definitely have to get you some Evoluna so you can try
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we did the tasting. We both tasted it. I do have some people here that want to talk to us. So let's see. So we have Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer Bliss. I love that wine
Yes,
plus the
Jennifer.
moon. We have Tatiana here. She's saying hello, beautiful ladies.
Hi,
Thank you
Tatiana.
so much. She said, "Send me a bottom." She wants a bottle. I think she
A
went.
bottle?
Should her a bottle? Yeah. And we also have Kristen. She's joining us. She's joining us on YouTube, and she can't wait to hear about the moon energy. So that's
All
good.
right, Kristen, let's get in it.
How's the moon looking in LA over there? It's supposed to be beautiful. I see.
Actually, I can't see it right now because the sun is still up.
Tatiana says the creamy one is delicious. She likes that in her Chardonnays.
Oh,
Wonderful,
yeah?
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes. All right. So Sonja, right now I'm going to kind of get back into it. I wanted to also kind of mention that we met about 2 or 3 years ago through Originals Nation at the Ace Hotel in Los
Mhm.
Angeles. We were introduced by our mutual friend Anissa Williams, casting director extraordinaire.
Oh, I love her.
She just celebrated working on Beyonce's Black is King, so I'm so proud of her.
You can work on that?
Yes, girl, I was watching it and her name came up in the credits.
Oh, I did not know. Oh, I have to call her and congratulate her. That was phenomenal.
Yes, that
Yeah.
I think I should do a segment on that.
You should. Absolutely. And invite prisoner to the table
Prisoner.
on some oxymoronic stuff.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, ever since we met, I've taken a little effort into learning more about astrology because I think that particular day was the first day that I learned about how to get my natal birth chart. And so
Okay.
we were doing it, I think, during that particular evening. And then we had like a worksheet. And I felt like, that was a great introduction for me because it was in person. I had some astrologers with me to kind of guide me throughout the way, and so it really made me feel more confident to learn more about it.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited to have you here tonight and to accompany us as we uncover this deep, mysterious moon wine Evoluna. But I just want to let everybody know that, Sonja, she's conducted over 200 workshops and lectures nationwide, encouraging people to be responsible for their and purpose. She's been with Essence Magazine as their monthly horoscope columnist for over 7 years. She's still with them, guys. So she knows what she's talking about, and she probably read some of her words. And they reach over 3 million subscribers. So I'm quite sure. So raise your hand if you guys check the Essence horoscope, because we need to make sure we're letting Sonja know that we see her work and we celebrate her.
Wow.
She's also an astrologer for Cafe Mocha Radio, which
I
is
was.
oh,
I
you
was.
was.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't think it's I don't even think it's in existence any longer. Lonnie Love and MC Light used to host that. I think it was like a satellite show or something like that. That was you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. But the thing is, I guess the thing is that I'm excited about is that you are, a well-rounded astrologer. You're from New York. Like you said, you like to keep it real. You're hitting us with the Essence experience as well as the radio show. So you're full of the personality and you're full of the energy that I'm looking for, that I resonate with. So I'm looking forward to you schooling us on this moon cycle.
Well, I like to add to that that I love doing personal readings, and people can always find me on my website at wordlifeastrology.com. I love doing personal readings only because, in my opinion, Western astrology is a wonderful modality to help people learn who they are so it can foster better relationships with themselves and other people. Some people, depending on who they are, think that astrology can be used as a manipulating tool, right? You find out somebody's time and birth, time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth, and all of a sudden you want to figure somebody out. Well, if you have a good heart, if you are of good stock, you would use that information, in my opinion, to foster better relationships with people as opposed to trying to manipulate them. That's the cream of what it is that I do, because I utilize, and they utilize me, my ancestors and my guides, those on the other side, when I have one-on-one readings with people, to hear what it is that these people or whoever I'm counseling in that moment, what they should do, right, in regards to utilizing the modality of Western astrology to point it out, to make it
Yes.
plain,
Yes.
to give them information, to make it, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Tactile, so to speak. If there's a reason behind it, I'll find it in your chart. So I want to add that because it's bigger, in my opinion, than just Western astrology, right? So, bust this. When you slip through your mom's womb, first of all, based on the time, the date, and the place that you were born, imagine a snapshot of the heavens as you slip through. I believe that everybody has an individual purpose, an individual spirit, right? Like fingerprints. But everybody has a snapshot too, a personality to basically help your spirit, your soul administer its duty, its purpose here on the planet. So whether you're a Cancer or whether you're a Leo, whether you're a Sagittarius, how are you going to administer your soul's journey? And that's where Western astrology comes from, in my opinion. That's how I utilize it. That makes sense.
Wonderful. Yeah, makes total sense. Total sense. So, okay, so I found out after our evening together in LA a few years ago, I'm a Gemini sun,
Uh-huh.
Pisces moon,
Really?
and Aries rising.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's like I have every element, right? Except Earth.
Yeah, you said Pisces moon, Gemini sun, and Aries rising. That's air, fire, and water. Absolutely. I'm wondering if there's some earth in there to bring you down every now and again. Plant you on the earth every now and again.
That's why I need my life partner to help bring me down to Earth.
So listen, as far as the moon is concerned, because there's so many different aspects of a person's personality, right? And I always teach the village. I have a bunch of folks that we come together and learn astrology together on Facebook forum. And also I go on YouTube and express it once or twice a week of what's going on in our universe. But I always tell people that the sun is who you are. That's the core you. The other parts of our charts, our moon sign, our rising sign, our Mercury sign, Saturn, Venus, and so on and so forth, are like appendages to our sun.
Okay.
We have to give reverence to the sun like we give reverence to our sun in the sky, because if the sun drops, we're no more. right? There's no more galaxies. So we have to give reverence to the sun. Bust this. The sun is the masculine element of our universe. The sun is the
Masculine.
masculine element. So the moon is the female. The moon is the mother. The moon is, yes, emotions. The moon is also karmic information. So if you can tell just visually from the pairing, you have the sun that's literally holding up gravitational pull, like the man, the masculine energy, strong arming, holding it together, right? And then the female is closest to the earth. The moon is closest to the earth, situating a more maternal, nourishing, emotional connection with everybody here. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes total sense. Let's see. Let's talk. You guys leave some comments in here, please. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Please put them in the chat box because we want to hear from you. We want you guys. I want Sonja. Sonja, you want to answer some questions, right?
I would love to answer some questions. Yes, yes, yes.
So one thing that I do want us to do is because I think you're on to something, but and for anybody who don't know their full birth chart or what their moon and their rising and and their sun is, please go to alabe.com to get your full natal birth chart. This is the one that I use. So make sure you go there, and all you need to know is your date of birth, your time of birth, and your birth city. Right, Sonja?
Absolutely. The city and the state, of course.
Yep, city and the state. So once again, make sure if you know your date of birth, the time of your birth, and your birth city, you can find out your full natal birth chart by going to this website. So please join us and also share information in the comments.
And what's dope about this website, if I may add, is that it initially will give you this chart where you'll look at it and go, okay, I have no idea what that is. That's literally like a one-dimensional picture of our universe when you were born, right? Right below the chart is a little synopsis. So it will list your rising sign, your moon sign, your sun sign, and so on and so forth. So, for shits and giggles, as I like to say, pay attention to the moon sign. Because as we go into this moon sign energy, we will start to pull apart what each personality looks like with certain moon signs in certain signs. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. So we actually have somebody who commented in here who said she has a sun Taurus, moon Aries, rising Leo.
Okay.
That's a lot of fire right there, huh?
Well, it is. It is. The sun is that earth, right? That holds her down. The sun holds her down. And so we won't, for the sake of like not going over people's heads with this, let's get back to the moon and really break down what that moon is about. Being that moon is feminine, being that moon is maternal, and it's a passive sort of energy and deals with emotions. It has everything to do with how we viewed our mom when we slipped through our mother's womb. How about that?
Whoa.
Yeah. Take a pause, take a sip. Need a sip on that?
Yes. Okay, so can you just help me wrap my brain around that?
So I'll use myself for an example. I have a Leo moon. And with my Leo moon, regardless of my mother's sun sign, when I slip through her womb and I look at her, my perception of her is like a Leo, regardless of the fact that she's a Libra. Okay. So to me, that means she is perceived by myself as being very domineering, very generous, just like a Leo, right? Gregarious, always center stage, always the performer in my eyes. So whatever your moon is in, whatever sign your moon is in, is how you visualized your mother when you slipped through her womb. Thus, you have taken on that personality in your emotional body. Boom. Because it's your moon sign.
I see. And when you say you take it on in your emotional body, what do you mean?
So our emotions are usually a knee-jerk reaction to everything that goes on. I like to equate it to akin to like an earthquake. If we were to get into an earthquake right now, we're not going to react from our sun sign. We're not going to react from our rising sign or any other position in our natal chart. We will directly react from our moon sign. It's an emotional knee jerk reaction. When you are happy, you go right to the happiness. You're happy like that moon sign. When you're upset or angry, you go right to the anger, just like that moon sign. When you're reacting to something, that's happening in the building is falling down, you're going to react just like that moon sign. You're
So the
saying,
way people, so just like now for COVID,
uh-oh.
so how people reacted to COVID
Well,
is
yes and
could be
no.
based on that.
Maybe the initial reaction, but we've been in this joint for 5 months plus, right? And if you're reacting all day, then something's wrong. You got Tourette's, and no dig if anybody got Tourette's, but the point of the matter is you just keep reacting. I don't know. At some point, you got to sit down and be yourself.
Right.
At some
Right.
point, you got to sit down and be yourself. You know what I mean? And activate other parts of your personality. But initially, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we look like we have a question. Do we only look at where the moon in our chart or where it is every day?
That's an awesome question, and thank you. Thank you for asking that. So we have our natal moon, which is mine is Leo, and you said yours is Pisces, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that means you came on the planet with your moon, your emotions, just like a Pisces. However, every single day to 2.5 days, the moon, which we call the transit moon, meaning that it's still moving. The moon is in transit. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So that means, on a whole, the earth is responding like that moon sign. Today, the moon is in Gemini. Even though you have a moon in Pisces, I have a moon in Leo. Right now, the moon is hitting the constellation of Gemini. That's what makes the
Wow.
moon in the sign of Gemini. So that means there's a blanketed feeling. Thank you to the person that asked this question because it's very important. There's a blanketed feeling of our emotional nature being real heady, Gemini, being real information based, Gemini, you know, sliding closer to our siblings at this time, Gemini, community oriented, Gemini. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
when the moon switches into the next sign, which is Cancer, and I think it will switch on Friday, but don't quote me. I know it will be there Saturday and Sunday. People start to feel a little introverted. You want to feel homey, Cancer. You want to eat more, Cancer. Regardless of what your particular natal moon sign is, this is the blanketed energy that's on the earth at this time. And how you respond to it is up to you. But that's what's happening. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. So the moon moves every 1 to 2 days.
One to two.
It's in transit. So
Right.
it's in transit. And
Absolutely.
so I know last week we had a full moon. And we have a new moon coming up next week. Is that when you say that it's going into Cancer?
No, but I think the new moon will be in Leo, to be quite honest with you. So let's start from here. The moon takes 29 days to go through 12 signs.
29 days to go through 12 signs. Okay, so that's where the two and a half
So this
days.
is the earth and this is the moon. And the moon is rotating around the earth. The moon is going to go and hit all 12 constellations as it travels in the universe, thus changing signs. You get that? It takes 29 days for it to go around the earth,
Understood. Understood.
okay? In all 12 signs. Now, when it goes into a new moon, that means that the sun is in that same sign.
Oh, okay. So that means
Go
this. So that
ahead.
means right now we're in Leo. The
Yep,
new moon is going to be in Leo.
yep. And when we're in a full moon, the full moon is actually opposite the sun. So that means this last full moon, last week, it was in Aquarius because Leo is opposite of Aquarius.
Got it. Got it.
So
Okay.
every time there's a full moon, it's opposite the sun sign. Every
Got it.
time there's a new moon, it's the same as the sun sign.
Wow. Okay, so I never knew this. So this is I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. So this is great. Thank you so much, Sonia.
Oh,
So
no
I
problem.
So I know we wanted to talk about each. Do you want to start with the full moon and kind of tell us how that affects us since we just experienced that, or do you want to talk about the new moon, or what do you want?
Well, it always begins with the new moon because the new moon is when the moon is furthest from the earth and we can't see it. It doesn't
Okay.
show up in the sky. You're getting the dark side of the moon, but it's new. So when
Okay.
it starts to wax, that means it starts to get bigger. It goes from the new moon to a first quarter moon to a half moon to a third quarter moon to a full moon. And then it wanes and goes the other way.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that
I
make
see.
sense?
That makes so that kind of like where we see the spectrum, which was similar to what we saw in on the wine
Exactly.
bottle, on the Evoluna bottle.
Exactly.
We saw the evolution of the moon throughout its full spectrum.
Right. Exactly. So, in order to put meaning on that, from an astrological perspective, the full moon is literally full of emotions, right? If the moon is indicative of emotions and karmic information, by the way, your relationship with your mom, also your relationship with women, right? Because it deals with the whole feminine aspect of the universe. The moon does. Okay? So when it's full, and that's why people say you go crazy when it's a full moon, because the full moon is on swell of all of these emotions, you know? And you don't necessarily, some people don't necessarily know how to process it when it's that full. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
Especially, side note, squirrel, in this society, emotions are not respected. The emotions are not respected. The moon is not respected. The
Yeah.
pole, the tides, they're not respected. They're expected. A
Mm.
lot like women
Ah, in our society, that's so
in our
true.
society. People think, we're crying. There we go. Salute. We're crying. We're emotional. We're expressing. Stuff it. Stuff your expressions. Stuff your tears. Because they're not going to allow you to move forward. Hence, I mean, honestly, is the freaking contrary of the whole situation when you really think about it. Why? Because the moon needs to keep moving.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Based on what we
Yes.
talked about, it has to
Yes.
go through these 12 constellations. It has to continue to uphold the planet. It has to secure us. So, how can we stuff our emotions, not pay attention to our emotions without expecting some kind of combustible situation to happen?
Wow. So is that when they say during the new during the full moon cycle you should be releasing?
Absolutely. You absolutely should be releasing. And going back to astrology, you should be releasing in the energy of the moon's sign at that time. Yeah. If you want to get specific. So we just had a full moon in Aquarius last week. Aquarius deals with humanity. Aquarius also deals with detachment and friendships, right? Aquarius deals with philanthropy. Aquarius deals with the future, trends. So when we're releasing in the light of those things, in the light of the energy that that particular sign holds. You understand? So just taking friendships, for example, maybe we've gotten to a point where there are some friends in which you need to release.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that's always a good thing to do when they're toxic or they're not working for you. But around about that time is the most opportune time, right? Because the energy is promoting it. It being an Aquarius, which deals with friendships.
Right, right, right.
It's easier to do. It's like a traffic light on the street, my mentor used to tell me. The traffic light is gonna be there. It's up to you to pay attention to it or not.
Blown
Are you
away.
there? Angela, what happened?
I'm just thinking because, I've been, thinking about like the moon energy a lot lately and just how I can like leverage it. Like I've been following yourself along with other women. This year has been all about my divine feminine sensual energy. And so I've been relying on that moon energy or the guidance of that to help me understand, how to tap into that energy more.
Right.
So, you know, now you're telling me that when I do tap into it, I need to make sure that I'm being even more specific to the current moon that it's in. I mean, the current sign or constellation that it's in.
The
So
energy,
that way everything is on intention and it's on purpose and it's all aligned because
Yes,
alignment is
ma'am.
so important right now.
Yes, ma'am. It's
So,
almost like if you're trying to eat a salad with a spoon, you're gonna have a really hard time.
wow, wow. So we have another question. Does a solace impact the moon or vice versa?
The solstice.
Solstice.
The solstice has to do, yes, it doesn't necessarily impact the moon. The moon impacts the solstice. So we have two solstices. We have a spring,
So,
a summer solstice and a winter solstice, and we have a
yep.
spring and a fall equinox. Okay, they are placed, or I should say, they tilt the earth. Right now, we're getting a little mathematical, and this is something we want to stay away from. Remember?
Okay. So, but we got somebody. We got some advanced people in here.
This is my village.
Yes, we got some advanced people in here, and that's excited. Very
Yeah,
excited. I mean, look at this excitement right here from your people. I mean, they were looking forward to this interview, and I'm glad that we're able to give them what they want.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you guys for being here, and ladies for being here. I appreciate you.
Yes, yes, yes. So, do you want to answer? Well, you did answer the question because you said that it was the other way around. The moon affects the solstice.
Right.
So that's good. So, okay, so you want to talk about some new moon energy?
Yes, thank you for bringing me back. So if the full moon is on swell, the new moon is on new, the beginning. It's an emptying. It needs to fill up, right? So what are you going to fill it up with is the question. This is all intuitive learning, I like to call it, right? You're thinking, okay, it's new, it's empty, new beginnings. What can I fill up this cycle with? When the new moon is in Cancer, oh, the new moon is in Cancer? Cool. Cancer has to do with mothering, nurturing. By the way, Cancer is ruled by the moon. That's why most Cancer people, or people who have strong Cancer in them, are moody, because they are garnered and literally ruled by the fluctuating moons. Moon. Make sense? Anyway,
Yes.
so the new moon is you saying, what can you do new? This is a new cycle. What new energy are you bringing in? Specifically, if it's placed in a particular, I mean, it is, when it's placed in a particular sign or energy. So again, new moon Cancer. Oh, okay. I need to take some time to learn how to be a better mother. Or I need to take some time to learn how to cook something, because Cancer energy loves food, you know? Let me start a new dish or something like that, learn a new dish, take care of my children. Cancer energy is also extremely emotional and very, very intuitive. What new practices can I use to start to strengthen my intuition?
Wow.
Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So yeah,
Okay.
new moons are about new beginnings. Full moons are about culminating and getting rid of and releasing things, right?
Wow.
But
Wow.
then usually throughout the year, we have about four, 3 to 4 eclipses, which have to do with the moon as well, obviously, right?
Right. Right.
That's when the moon or the earth is eclipsed by the sun's rays. But sis, though, this year, infamous 2020, did not have 3 eclipses. We had 6.
Is that why we going through what we going through?
That's
That's,
right. That's very much a big part of it. There's some other aspects, but yes, that's a huge deal. So eclipses, if y'all don't know, whether they be full moon lunar eclipse or new moon solar eclipse, it means massive changes. Eclipses are just that. It's almost like pulling the rug from underneath your feet and the universe saying, yeah, we're going to change right now. I've been telling you for the last year to get rid of that dude. I've been telling you for the last year to go move. I've been telling you to leave that job. But since the eclipse is here, and this new moon eclipse or this full moon eclipse is falling in your house of career, today is the day, and boom, it's done. Without any question, no nothing, because eclipses bring massive changes. 6 of them in. 6.
when was the like this? How often does that happen? Is that like a once in 1,000 year thing or a
You
hundred
know
year
what? I'll be
thing?
honest with you. I wish I can give you a number. I don't know that, but I do know when it's more than not, because I start to look at the ephemeris, which is like the universal Bible, so to speak. It tells you all where all the signs, I mean, the moon and planets and in different signs or whatever. But when I notice that there's a lot of change, I'll go to the ephemeris and I'll be like, oh my God, there's the reason why. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little weird when it comes to me being an astrologer. I don't study daily because I don't want astrology to rule my life. I'd rather use it as a
Mm,
resource, and I'd rather use my intuition and my connection with my God and my ancestors and my guides as a little, hey, 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 you should check that to see what's going on. Then I
yeah.
look and I'm like, oh, so they rule me, they guide me, and I use
Mm-hmm.
astrology as a tool, in my opinion, in what it's meant to be.
Say that again, because I know people that will be on astrology or multiple horoscopes every day. Doing all that day in and day out. I've caught myself in cycles like that. And if I'm going through something, just say that again for us.
Well, here's the deal. I think sometimes it's really tricky what we put our power in. If we are clear that our power is from our God, from our ancestors, and we allow them to be the originating force, then everything else is a tool. What I'm telling you is a tool. What the old lady down the street told me last night is just a tool. I know the
Even
church,
church.
yeah,
Church is a tool.
is a tool. The Bible is a tool. When you allow it to rule you and it becomes your origin, priorities are shifted. You're not getting your voice nor your messages or your information from the inside. Now you're allowing what anybody else or everybody else to tell you dictate your flow. Uh-uh. No, 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 no. It's a reference tool. And most of the time they're dead on with one another. Why? Because energy is energy. That makes sense? Energy
Absolutely.
is energy. So yeah, you're gonna find the same information in the Bible that you would in Western astrology, that you would in some Buddhist practices, that you would, you see what I'm saying? All over.
Well, I'm glad you said that because, a lot of people, usually are like, they don't sometimes practice both. There are people that, are religious that don't really feel comfortable with astrology. Just because they feel like, I don't know what if it's something that's been taught in the church. I don't know if it's just maybe something in their family and their traditions, but they feel as though the natural kind of like earthly, like of energetic, of the universe is something that doesn't align with their beliefs and their belief system when it comes to God and Christianity. And sometimes I don't really understand it, but I feel like I'm glad that we kind of touched on it just a bit because it is something that is a tool. It's not something that is necessarily just like
God,
with. Exactly, exactly. Just like religion, like your
it's not
pastor
God.
on a pulpit, he's not God, right?
Right.
He's just like he's a guide to help you and bring you in, and when it comes to your journey and getting closer to God, or being closer to your intuition, or being closer to living a righteous life. So how can people like leverage the not just the moon, but also just their purpose, because you talked about that their purpose as well as their personality. How can they utilize that in their day-to-day life to be aligned with it when it comes to astrology?
Utilize what? Utilize astrology? I don't
Yes,
quite understand
yes.
the
Sorry,
question.
I was a little convoluted. How can they utilize astrology, right, to tap into their purpose as well as their personality, so that they can be on path to their journey?
Well, honestly, there's a bunch of different ways, but knowing your natal chart, getting a reading from me or anybody else that you revere and you respect, is a good way. Only because, again, Western astrology is about your personality, right? It's not your soul. It's the tools that you use. I like to say, if you and I both had the purpose to be a nurse, I'm gonna be a nurse like a Cancer. You're gonna be a nurse like a Gemini. What does that really look like? It doesn't mean that you're going to be a better nurse than me. You might be a little bit more informed nurse than me because you like information. Whereas I will be more maternal, more mother like, more nurturing because I'm a Cancer. Does that make one better than the other? Oh, no.
No.
Absolutely not. There's no competition there. It
Right.
just depends on your personality and how you're administering your soul's purpose. In my opinion, that's how people utilize astrology. See what your personality is about. See what things you are doing to hold yourself back. But sometimes we don't know it. We go, yeah, I knew that about me. That's just confirmation. Okay, did you know that you can actually not do that?
Right.
Because I mean, just because you know it, do you know how to control it? Our personality is actually controllable. When we know that we have a rising sign, let's stay on the moon. We know we have a moon in Pisces, such as yourself. You are extremely, extremely intuitive. You've been seeing spirit since you was a baby. You understand? The Gemini in you, however, is square that. It does not like that. It needs information. It can't, you just can't say, oh, somebody's standing in the corner. I see my Uncle Jack in the corner. You know, that's your moon in Pisces making you intuitive because Pisces energy can see past veils. You understand? Where the Gemini in you is searching for the information, for the reasons why. Oftentimes, you got to tell the Gemini, hey, relax real quick. Trust what I know. And what I know is what I'm feeling in this moment. Emotions are intelligent as well. And we need to respect the moon. We need to respect emotions and expressions because they get us to the next wave.
Wow.
Literally and figuratively, they get us to the next plateau of our lives. When we don't express, when we don't emote, when we don't release, we can't see what's coming. Makes sense? The moon is in
Absolutely.
charge of that.
Jennifer said, Jennifer with the Kamala
Yes, how
yes, with that, she said you'll get a reading from you because it is beyond. You are beyond. And then we have Patrice Elizabeth saying this is facts. We see it every day. It's overwhelming.
Pisces.
Yes.
That Pisces, yeah. That
Okay,
Pisces.
so I want you to go. I'm gonna put you up forward. I want you to tell people about your book that you have coming up.
Oh, nice. Yes. And within a month or so, we are arduously working on my first astrology book called The Signs. It's an astrological memoir. I had a time with this, and I'm not going to lie, because I wanted to write and produce, put out there a pretty different astrology book. And I thought maybe, first of all, my first aim was to show people that astrology is bigger than just fortune telling and creating, some type of wish to get this new love that you want, or these hopes and these dreams and these wishes. It's bigger than that. It's actually, it shows up in the way that we dress. It shows up in the music that we like. It shows up in the men and the women that we choose. It shows up in how we are a mother, how we are a father, so on and so forth. So I thought, how can I bring astrology down to earth, as above, so below, and show people really how astrology shows up in the everyday life?
Right.
How do I do that better than just explain some stories or share some stories that came from my life in a memoir sense,
That's
and
amazing.
kind of explain that, to see if you can sit and tap into it and say, yeah, I actually did that like an Aries once too. I was pretty forthright with that thing too. Aries being forthright and independent and a fighter. Yeah, I can pull on that because why? Even though we are a particular sun sign, we all have these energies within our personality.
Yep.
We
Yep.
do. When you get a reading, you'll see that. But we actually have access to all 12 signs, all 12 energies. So I thought in this book, The Signs, an astrological memoir, to express that through my stories and to talk about a celebrity, a male celebrity too, that exhibits those particular signs too. It's pretty dope. I actually really like it. And
Oh, I'm loving the energy I'm getting from you as you talk about it. Like you're like glowing right now. It's like you're emitting all the energy right now of the excitement with this book. So I can't wait for it to come out.
oh, thank you very much. I can't wait to share it. Again, it's a different perspective and it's something different. That the reason why I'm so excited is because I've never seen this book. I wrote a book that I wanted to read.
Wonderful. And how long have you been working on it?
To be honest with you, I got with this wonderful coach named Kim O'Hara. Um, She's with this company called A Story Inside. Please look her up if you guys want to write a book. We got together in November. I came to her to write one book. I ended up writing two in 6 months.
In 6 months, 2 books.
Two books. My astrology book, and I also wrote a book about my aunt Diane, who went missing on Skid Row for about 11 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's a powerful. That sounds like a powerful story.
We found her, but it is a
Thank
very
God.
powerful story.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Woo! So we got a lot here to celebrate and to look forward to,
Yes,
Sonja.
we do. We do. We do. I'm very excited about it.
So tell us about, okay, so you do your YouTube. I know you have your YouTube channel. What can people get from your YouTube? What can they expect for by subscribing to your YouTube?
It's called a weekly rundown, and what we do is basically explain the transiting situations, what's happening within that week as the planets are transiting through particular signs and how they're relating to one another. Because astrology is so vast, right? And that it's not enough to just have the moon, your emotions, or the emotions of the planet in a particular sign. It's like, how are those emotions dealing with Mars in that moment? And Mars is the planet of anger. Of confrontation, of sex, how is Mars relating to Mercury, which is the planet of communication? So within our weekly rundown and on the Move series, as Jennifer Bliss explains, I have two. The weekly rundown and on the move, in which I just kind of arbitrarily come up and talk about whatever's on my mind and what's happening in the universe at the time. We talk about the changes and what's happening. Not to necessarily fortune tell, but to be aware of the energy. So if something does come up where Mars is fighting and prompts you to fight, how can you deal with that? How can you be more responsible for your reactions instead of just getting into a fist fight just because? You know what's coming.
Right.
We talk about it coming. So when it appears, oh, that's that thing, huh? Okay, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to choose something different. It's about awareness.
Wow. So what I'm going to encourage people to do is to definitely go to Sonja's Instagram page, because that's where you're going to really find all her links. Because I think that's probably the easiest place for people to get all your information at once. And I'm going to put the Instagram up right now so everybody can see it. So if you go to Instagram, follow her at Wordlife Sonja Marie. Make sure you go to the click link in bio, which has her link tree, which has about 5 or 6 different links of all things Sonja Marie Wordlife Astrology. And I definitely want you guys to also, share, if you like today, if you like the content, please spread the love, by following Uncorked and Cultured on Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Share it with your, friends and family that enjoy wine and want to learn more about cultural, relevant, inspirational, ideas and ways of life, because that's what this is what I like to bring. And, just share it, repost it and, use our hashtags, because, sharing is caring. I've met Sonja a few years ago and I knew that I had to have her on. And when I was going through the emotional roller coaster last week on that full moon, I hit you up, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I just felt like it was just so relevant. And I'm so glad that we were able to schedule time today, because, sometimes you realize that you have a platform or you have a perspective and you don't realize how much it can influence and impact and inspire and motivate somebody else. And, especially when you have a gift like yours and you're so passionate about it and you relate it, you talk to us in our language, as Black women, as Black men, as being unapologetically Black, it's all aligned. And I feel like this is a great way for me to introduce you to my audience, to also me get that energy and feel encouraged and learn something new, because, it's one thing when you Google search and you see all this technical stuff, but it's another when you sit down and get to have somebody like yourself explain it to us.
I appreciate that, Ange. Thank you so much, babe.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to go through here. If there's any, we got Tatiana. She said it's very good information. We got Shavella. She definitely. Oh, that's not Shavella. Shavella said she loves you. She gets your rings in, and you're like that. And of course, just make sure you follow follow her, hit her up on her website. Check it out right now because I know you're either in front of your computer or you're on your cell phone, so you can type it in wordlifeastrology.com. And we have some folks that are really excited and looking forward to your book.
Oh, thank you.
So before we go, do you have any last thoughts or anything you want to share with us?
I don't, other than the fact that to round it up, really respect your emotions. Do yourself a favor and allow them to filter through. Allow yourself to express who you are, good, bad, or indifferent. I think it's necessary as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, because it's a way, again, in which we can get to the next leg of this. We're in some very interesting times, and it's never going to be the same again. And if we stuff and hold our emotions back, if we don't know how to emote, if we don't know the benefits of our particular moon sign and the ways in which we can get this thing off, it'll be harder for us to go into this new life that we're
Yes.
going into. Again, nothing is going to be the same. The age of Aquarius is upon us, and structures are falling down. You understand what I'm saying? It's centuries and centuries of structures that are just demolishing. So if you're looking for it to go back to normal, I'm so sorry. You may react in a way that may not be pleasurable. But if you know your moon sign, maybe you'll be aware how to react in a way that can benefit you and everybody around you, as opposed to you destroying things and being stubborn about going into the next phase of evolution.
And that's where your readings come in handy, where you can help them with the tools they need, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Otherwise, learn on your own. I'm big on not everybody coming to me, to be quite honest with you, because it'll, some people hear it from me and they get it, and some people don't. As long as you get it, please
Yeah.
get it. Just get
Yeah.
it for yourself. So that happiness and that understanding and those expressions can come out, and they won't hurt your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
can love your neighbor because you expressed yourself, because you know yourself, because you are aware.
And you
That's
can
the most
also know
important.
your children. You can also know your children, your mate through this. So you can actually know where they're coming from. So that way, that headbutting and that resistance or that lack of connection can actually start being on the mend because you're taking the initiative to really understand more about not just yourself, but about the people that matter most to you. Right?
Absolutely. I agree. Absolutely agree.
Oh, I'm sorry that this is coming to an end, but I think we should probably have another segment
I'm with
sometime
it.
soon. Would you down
Listen,
for that?
you can find things to talk about when it comes to astrology. Yes. Yes and yes.
Patrice was like, "Oh, thank you so much, Patrice. She's loving it. She's grateful for this. She definitely is
Oh,
going to be in touch." And Sonia, I guess you know Patrice as well. She has a long overdue reading.
I'm here when
So
you're ready, baby.
so this is amazing. So I just want to, thank you again. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be definitely be in touch with you, Sonia, so we can schedule our, session live on air with another topic, and you could tell me whenever you want to come back,
Okay.
whenever there's something relevant. You hit me up if you feel like this is a good platform. I could pick the wine. We could do wine pairings in astrology.
Listen, wine is always a great incentive.
Cheers.
Salute to that.
Thank you, and I'll be in touch. You have a good rest of your evening.
You too, baby. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Wow, 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 y'all. Wow. This was amazing. That was fun, huh? Did you guys enjoy it as much as I did? I hope so. I never knew the information when it comes to the relevance of, the moon and the actual constellation that it's in. So that's something that I'll definitely take into account as I move forward through understanding the new moon as well as the full moon each month, and just really understanding how that affects the way that I should be being intentional as the moon phases change. And I also love how secret indulgence
No, I never knew.
I also love how Secret Indulgence, Evoluna Chardonnay pair perfectly with our conversation, right? So if you guys are interested in learning more about the wine, make sure you hit me up. I'm always available whenever you guys need any wine and things of that sort. I'm going to put my Instagram up now so you guys can hit me up and follow me for those who don't know me and are new to the page. Get in touch with me anytime you want. So this is a wrap for this week's Uncorked in Culture. Catch us at the same time next week, Wednesday, and every Wednesday after that at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Be sure to follow the Uncorked and Cultured Facebook page as well as our YouTube page. Today I went live for the first time on both simultaneously, so I'm excited. I'm evolving. It's just like the moon. But I also want to let you guys know next week. So I had an opportunity to go to the driving range. I just want to give you guys a quick little sneak peek of that. I had a chance to go to the driving range for the first time. This is a little snapshot yesterday, and it was kind of timely for me, right? Because I just moved to New York a year ago, and Latanya LJ Finney took me to the driving range, y'all, and we hit a few balls in the Bronx. Place their golf course over there, and it was on the anniversary of hip hop. So how fitting was that? I was doing golf on an anniversary of hip hop. Who would have ever thought? But I thought that was kind of interesting. So next week I'm going to be talking to Latoya. We're going to be talking about golfing while black, because she's a golfing advocate. She has a nonprofit. She has a podcast all about golfing and how you can use it to develop your soft skills, how you can, develop it to how you can utilize it to develop your relationships personally as well as professionally. So make sure you join us, whether you're a golfer, an avid golfer, or whether you're just intrigued about what all the hype is, because sometimes, we learn about things, but it's not in our backyard. It's not something that we are directly connected to. So I want to make sure I bring it to you during this time of COVID, because it might be something you might want to try out, especially when we're all looking for fun, socially distanced, safe things to do. So once again, I'm Angela McCrae. You can catch me live every Wednesday on Uncorked and Cultured on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram page. Thank you so much for joining me. Wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.